Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Dizzy Goku. He is back on again to talk about his fantastic new single. Truly, it's great. It's called Better Sides of You. I'm really excited to talk to you all about it. How have you been? What's going on? It's been a little while.
Yeah, I think the last time we spoke, I was last year, and I was
It
getting ready.
was April 6th, 2023, so a little
Yeah,
over a year. Things I'm sure have changed and hopefully gotten better.
yeah. And I think in the last interview or meeting that we've had, the song was called Nightmares, and
Yes,
and I told you that the goal was to release this kind of like coherent EP, so I'd have a set to perform,
correct.
and that has happened. So if you want to go back
Nice.
and listen to it, it's called Nightmares
Yes.
Fantasies.
Of
Please do.
course. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have the links for everyone to check out the rest of your music, but I gotta say, this new song it's great, man. It's like a stripped back kind of slow jam, but it highlights your vocals in a beautiful way. And like
Yeah.
it feels very artistic and emotional. Not that like the rest of your music isn't, but it just feels like it kind of like warms your soul a little bit when you listen to it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I feel as though it's kind of a pivot from what you've
Mm.
made in the past. Obviously, it's still in the realm of pop and it's catchy, but it's slower and it's more kind of like deep. What was the thought process behind that?
There was no intention to
No?
create.
Okay.
There was like it was more of a embrace the moment,
Sure.
and the story, because I don't want to take too long in explaining the
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
but
I understand.
it was a sample, and I had a session producer with me at the house. His name was Rocco Hustle, and we were just flipping through some of the samples, and I instantly connected like that sample. I was like, "Ooh, that's like ear candy," it's
Yeah,
like very
absolutely.
catchy. And then the hook just came, and I
Nice,
was
man.
just expressing whatever I was feeling at the moment. So
Sure.
I don't, it was one of those moments where you allow your subconscious to take over, and you just say the first thing that pops in your head, and then that felt right, and the whole thing was just done in like, oh, the whole song was written in like 30 minutes.
Are you serious?
For real. It was
Damn.
not, yeah, we didn't stress it. I mean, he had the drums like in his head.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? The
I get
like
that.
and
Sometimes the best music comes fast as opposed to like I worked on this thing for a year and it's
yeah,
okay. I kind of
yeah.
prefer it that way. It's best not to, second guess yourself and kind of be
Yeah.
like, well, we could change this thing, we could up the drums a little
Oh
bit,
no,
we
oh
could
no,
do something.
the production itself, like delving deep into like
Yeah,
fishing it and
sure,
everything
sure.
took time,
Okay,
but like
okay.
creating the reference itself, like with the because it had just the
Nice.
leading melody and the drums and then the
Sure.
guide vocal. So that just happened like on the spot. And then
Okay,
from I took it to the studio that I work with in London, and they're
sure.
called the Lounge Recording Company.
Okay.
And they're like really talented musicians over there. So they kind of like,
Nice.
yeah, added all those layers. So we've only retained one aspect from the song, which was just the lead melody, and then we took inspiration from the drums and we
Okay.
restructured the whole thing.
Okay, but it does sound like the lyricism came pretty fast on the song. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I think when people listen to the song, obviously the song title is going to give them an idea of what it's about.
Yeah.
Better sides of you. Is it about being a better person? Is it about, changing yourself? Like what I guess what I in that moment inspired you to write, along those lines.
I think there's a moment of hesitation when it comes to love,
Okay.
where you want to embrace a person and accept them for who they are, but you also realize that that takes time. And in this day and age, I feel like, and this inspired the music video, this thought process, by the
Yeah.
way. In this day and age, I feel like dating or the love experience in itself has turned into this like disposable thing where it's like nobody has time. It's almost like speed dating.
It's
There's not enough.
horrible, man. It's
Yeah, it's horrible.
horrible. I
Like the
hate
dating
it.
world is crazy.
And you know what? Sadly, it makes me happy to know that, that's kind of a world feeling and it's not just
Yeah.
my area. Cause like dating in LA is Oh my god, it's just like, I don't wanna talk to you on this app. I wanna see you in real life, but no one wants to make time. It's you have so many options, you feel like you're always looking for the next best thing.
Mhm.
People don't
Mm,
talk to each other in real life because it's weird to go up and start a conversation. Man, it's sad, it's terrible, and it's exhausting.
yeah. I feel like this song, maybe that's why I didn't overthink it when I was writing it, because I lived in a big, because Malta is very small compared to London.
Yeah,
And this song was a result of that experience of me being in a big city and experiencing that whole atmosphere of
right.
like everybody's in a rush, everybody's on the tube, but nobody's
Yeah,
looking at each other. Like you don't
right.
like you notice that people are not really seeing people. They're just
I
trying to
know.
get somewhere, you know?
Exactly, and it's crazy because like so I live in a place where it's, if you wanna get around, you have to have a car. Like, LA doesn't
Okay.
have a lot of public transportation, but I feel like being in London where so many people, they take the bus or they take whatever, it's like you do
Yeah.
have those opportunities to meet people in real life, but
The
everyone is
tube.
looking at the ground, they're reading the sign in front of them, but it's like, not to be like super romantic, but like your future lover could be sitting right in front of you and they've got
Yeah.
their AirPods in and they don't care. They don't care at
Yeah.
all. Oh
I
man,
mean,
it's
I'd like to romanticize life like that, but the reality of being in the tube, which is like the underground
yeah.
train in London, it's like it's gotten to a point where they put up these signs and says looking or staring for too long is has become a form of sexual harassment.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. And so everybody's sitting
What?
there and everybody's just looking at the ground or up, and it's like nobody's really looking at each other because they're
That's
afraid to,
it's
to get that.
damn,
Yeah,
that's crazy to me. I mean, listen, I understand like they wouldn't put the signs up for no reason, but I
yeah,
feel at the same time it's like, yeah, you got a lot of creeps who take public transportation and want to start stuff. I get that, but it's like there's normal people like you and I who are just like, hi stranger, like, hello, do you
yeah,
want to have a meaningful conversation and maybe we'll
yeah,
talk and maybe we'll okay, well thank you for writing a song about that because that's insane to me.
yeah. I
Damn,
just feel
okay,
I just feel like the song itself starts with this really like
yeah,
straightforward kind of like visual image in your head. It's like
it does,
wait for a second, what you say. It's like you almost don't believe that she's calling your name because it's
yeah,
like I don't know you that well. So it's like,
right,
so it's
that's
like,
crazy, man.
yeah,
And obviously I've listened to most of your music in the past, and what I like about this song is that I feel the messaging of it all was captured very well in the tone of the song. Like you
mm,
don't have a super upbeat, radio pop type song with like a downer message because it's too much of like a juxtaposition. I feel that you really captured the sound and the tone of everything really well. So maybe
mm.
from your side, and maybe I'm just going too far into it, like when you have the lyrics to a song, do you feel that the instrumentation has to match the tone of everything?
I've never really thought about that until
Really?
now.
Okay.
Because normally my tone tends to like it tends to come out organically and I know if it sits well on the song or no.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I tend to push myself to go higher and just because I'm trying to make it interesting and then that goes the right way but sometimes feels like me trying too hard. But with this song it was just
I understand.
felt it. Like, I felt that that's what it needed. So it just,
Yeah.
as soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, that sounds right.
Nice, man. I mean, sometimes and you can't second guess yourself either.
Yeah,
And then you said the song did go off to production to, tweak everything and make sure everything popped correctly. When it
yeah,
comes to the production, like, do you let your producer have full reign to do everything, or are you in the studio giving notes, changing things? Like, how does it look between you two?
yeah. I mean, the vocal tracking process were obviously because I had to re-record it there properly and layer some harmonies and
Yeah.
everything. And so we do the vocal tracking together with
Okay.
Samuel Campbell. I call him Uncle Sam or Sergeant Sam.
Nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
And so me and Sergeant Sam basically we sit together, we work through the structure, make sure that this is what we like and it all sounds great.
Sure.
And then from there I let Josh, he's the sound engineer and we call him Shotgun Josh because
Nice.
he's straight to the point. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he takes it from there because I feel like when it comes to dynamics and spacing and even maybe leveling, sometimes I would interfere just to make sure that the leveling is how I like to listen to music.
Yeah.
And then I hope that people like that. And then, but in terms of spacing and dynamics of the instrumental itself, so I don't interfere with the instrumental. I
Okay.
just give feedback on the vocals and how I
Sure.
like the vocals to sit on everything else.
That fully makes sense. And like I said when we started, I feel like this song is a very vocal forward song.
Yeah,
Um, there's nothing I hate more than when you listen to something and the artist was like, yeah, we purposely want to make this kind of lo-fi and have the vocals sit way back in the mix, but like the vocals are the highlight of the song. And I
yeah,
think maybe it's because maybe an artist is scared to make themselves more vulnerable. Like the higher their voices, the more attention grabbing, and then they hear the
yeah.
problems in
More
their own voice.
noticeable,
More
the more noticeable.
noticeable.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you got a great voice. You got to show that thing off. You got to put it,
Yeah.
right there in center. And like the lyrics are obviously fantastic here. So I'm glad that you kind of went that route and you're like, no,
Yeah.
this is me. This is what I'm about. This is my message.
Yeah. I feel like the song draws a lot of inspiration from like contemporary R&B as well,
It
or
does
at
100%.
vocal from a vocal perspective as well, like how we
Yeah.
lay. I think I like to. It's like taking an R&B approach to vocal, like recording vocals and applying that to pop. That's
Yes.
how that's how I look at it currently, at least.
100%. And I'm sure like when you heard the beat and the instrumental, you kind of tailored how you delivered, everything to it.
Oh yeah, it changed. It's like but the slight changes come with just not me so much restricting it to the reference because that's the actual thing that happens to a lot of artists is that they get so attached to the reference and how the reference sounds and
I
then they
agree.
don't move past that.
It's true,
So
man. It's totally
yeah,
true. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So I just listen to it. I love listening to it with new ears again, which is why I don't like to interfere so much in the production aspect of the instrumental and the mixing side of
Yeah,
that.
man.
But then when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I'm excited again. So I can record it this
Nice.
time.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. And another thing you said when we started this off was like you had an EP that released this past year. So first off, congratulations on that.
thank you.
But it
Thank you.
also led to live performances, correct? So how's that been for you?
It's been good. I feel like the EP in itself was personal conquest, if you like.
Mhm. Yeah, of
Because I told you that was just like a goal that I set for myself. And I said I wanted to create something that interlocked and there's a deeper
course.
message that just goes beyond me trying to say, oh, here's a love song, here's a mainstream, here's a radio type of song,
Of
but
course,
just
man.
that connects.
Right.
So give it a listen. But in terms of performance, I'm still not convinced that that was, or let's just say that at that time, that felt right. But
Oh,
at the current moment, I'm working on an actual EP
okay.
that that's going to expand into a solo album, and
Nice.
I've shifted my direction more towards organic music. So I'm stripping everything back where it's like before it was still kind of a little more processed than I would like.
Sure.
And Better Sides of You is like the in between. So that's kind of like the bridge where we started to strip it back a little bit.
I like that.
And what's coming next, it's going to be even more organic, kind of like Steve Lacy, Daniel Caesar, those guys type of
Nice.
well, that type of music. Because I've always wanted it to perform it, but I wanted it to also be live band, with a guitarist, a drummer,
Sure.
and that's the vision. And at that time, I didn't have access to the resources, or I wasn't working with the studio that I'm working with now, so
Yeah.
I didn't know it was possible. But now it is. So we're just
That's
pushing.
awesome, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of the artist that you just named, so the fact that you're going to make music in that style has me excited for it.
yeah.
How far along in that process are you?
We're ready. We're just basically we're in the stage of listening to the final drafts and just making sure that we're all aligned and there's no feedback. And I'm listening through different speakers all the time. Like whatever I can find a speaker, I'm just playing it,
Nice.
in certain spaces. Sometimes I get access into like certain smaller clubs and I just get to hear it over there too. Even though that some of the music is not really tailored for a club, but just to understand more of like how it's going to translate in case it's played there.
I
And then
understand that.
once that's confirmed, so I think late June, by late June,
Okay.
we should EP. Yeah.
Okay, that's like really soon. Or
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna feel
yeah,
very
yeah,
soon. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
This
Late
year has gone
June,
by so quickly,
July.
so I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Um, that's awesome. Okay, so without saying too much, is there a song on this upcoming record that you're most excited for people to hear?
Oh, Dark Days.
Dark Days. I love the name. I'm already a fan. It's already my favorite song on the EP.
It's an acoustic song. It like
Okay.
I took that and another song. I took them out of the EP because I felt like they were too precious to me.
Okay.
Like I don't know if precious is the right word, but
No,
they
that
were
is the right word.
I don't know because I feel like maybe I just wasn't ready for it at the time, and I took them out of the EP and I said they deserve more than what is there at the moment.
Okay.
And so we again we stripped them back. They were like trap, and I was like, that's not the way. The message and the lyrics were so like it
Sure.
deserves something that's a lot more heartfelt. And so we just stripped them back acoustic with little
Nice, man.
percussion, and it just moves beautifully. It's just
Very cool.
like honestly, I can't wait. Like because that one is like one of my favorites.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear it whenever it comes out, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
And I guess like, people are always influenced by the things that they listen to. You did name a couple artists that you're sort of tailoring this record after,
Yeah.
but is there anyone else that you were listening to over this past year, I suppose, that you feel has kind of really influenced your sound? Not that you're making their music, but just like, dang, they're making good music.
Yeah, I feel like I've gone back and I've listened a lot to Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah. Have you listened to his new record?
No, no, but I've been listening to the older stuff. Like I keep losing my
Okay.
way. I
Nice,
keep
nice. Okay.
like that song. It's just I don't know. And Alicia Keys for some reason. Like I keep going back
Cute.
to Alicia
She's
Keys.
one of the greatest.
Yeah.
How could you not
John
listen to
Mayer,
her?
John Mayer as well.
Of
Like I've always
course.
listened. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I will say, I mean, I'll just go on the record saying it. I don't love Justin's new album. It's just kind of bloated. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of, yeah, whatever. That's all I'll say.
I feel
Listen
like
to the old
Timberland.
stuff.
I think Timberland was guiding him towards the right direction,
100%.
and then he
100%.
kind of like went somewhere else.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
um, Awesome. I have a couple more questions for you. So you've sort of detailed this year in terms of new music, new
Hmm.
releases, new everything. Um, what else would you like to see happen this year? Maybe more performances or just anything else in the works?
Hmm. I feel like a lot of my understanding of music has shifted, or I have more of an appreciation in terms of the vocal tracking aspect as well. So there's a lot that happens within the vocal tracking
Yeah,
that has to do so much with technique and positioning and interacting with the mic. And so I would say taking my time instead of rushing the recording process and making sure that everything just sounds right and layering the harmonies instead of saying, oh, I can't figure it out today or I can't figure it
yeah,
out in a week. And then you kind of like say, oh, I'm gonna schedule, but there's really no one imposing that schedule other than yourself.
sure.
So yeah, so I would say just releasing the EP that leads into the solo album, and then maybe just thinking about landing festival gigs. That's it.
Nice, man. Very
Yeah,
cool. And the last thing I want to know is, bringing it back to better sides of you. Is
yeah.
there anything else about the song that you think is important for someone to know before they listen?
Mm. Watch the video because the visual
There you
I pay
go.
a lot of yeah, I pay a lot of attention to the visual. Like I'm my own creative director. So
Hmm.
I sit down and I work on the pre-production process and I tailor the message not just from the lyrical aspect, but also from a visual aspect, because I feel like that always adds more context to the song.
Yeah,
So I would love it if people just watch the video and listen to the song because it captures the whole emotion because it's a very emotional, like it's a song that you have to feel rather than just try to dissect it lyrically.
I agree. I
So
fully agree.
it engages you have to engage your senses, so the visual and the hearing aspect, you know?
Nice, man. That was a great answer because honestly, you wouldn't make a music video for it if you didn't have the video in your head that you wanted people to see.
Yeah.
So I fully
Like
understand that.
like the video concept was inspired by what I told you, that emotion of,
Yeah.
dating has become like speed dating. So
Yeah.
essentially that's what we created. We found this nice spot. It was called the London Night Cafe. So it was the first
Nice.
video that I shot in London, and we had a great staff, and we just shot it, and we transformed the space into like a speed dating event. And I
Awesome.
created all the graphic visual designs for it and
Nice.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Listen, man, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I'm thrilled that we could make this work, but please let me plug your music for you before we wrap up
Absolutely.
here. So, everyone, if you didn't know who I was talking to, this is Dizzy Goku. The song is Better Sides of You. Of course, we'll have the links in our article so you can listen and share and follow along and do all that fun stuff. There is so much in the works right now. There is no better time to follow along than literally right now. And once more, I want to thank you, man. It's always a pleasure getting to talk to you and kind of getting inside your brain a little bit to see what's going on.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I
You're
mean,
very welcome.
hopefully the next time we speak, it'll be more exciting news, more stuff to talk about.
This is exciting, dude. New music is exciting news. You have nothing to like be.
By then you would have probably listened to Dark Days, and
That is true. You will get my
I'll be
reaction.
waiting for the feedback. I'll be waiting.
You got it. You got it. Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. I hope
Thank
you
you.
have an
Thank you.
amazing rest of your night, and we'll talk later.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.